Langchain Mitralai Chat Models Summary. This document provides a summary of how to integrate Mistral AI models into langchain. Langchain is a framework for building applications that use language models. And Mistral AI is a company that provides state-of-the-art language models. Inputs: text that provides instructions for the language model, specifying the desired response. Relevant information that the model should consider in addition to the prompt. Outputs: the text generated by the language model based on the prompt and context. Steps: install the necessary libraries that are required to use langchain and the Mistral AI model. Load the Mistral AI model from the Mistral AI platform. Construct a langchain chain, which is a sequence of steps that specify how to use the language model. Provide the prompt and context to the langchain chain. Obtain the generated text from the langchain chain. Prerequisites: a Mistral AI application programming interface key, also known as an API key, is required to access the Mistral AI models. An API key is a unique identifier that allows access to a specific service or resource. For instance, you might obtain an API key from the Mistral AI platform. Example: Mistral AI API key. The Python programming language and the langchain library must be installed and configured. You can install these using the package installer pip by executing pip install langchain in your command line. Example: pip install langchain. Fine-tune parameters. The temperature parameter controls the randomness of the model's output. A higher temperature results in more creative and unexpected outputs, while a lower temperature produces more predictable and deterministic outputs. The top K parameter specifies the number of most likely words that the model will consider when generating text. A higher value allows for a broader range of words, while a lower value restricts the selection to more predictable words. The top P parameter controls the probability distribution of the words that the model will consider. A higher value allows for a wider range of words, while a lower value restricts the selection to more likely words. Challenges and fixes: if the Mistral AI model cannot be loaded, it might indicate an issue with the application programming interface key. Make sure the API key is valid and entered correctly. Ensure the API key is correct. An error connecting to the Mistral AI application programming interface might indicate that the application programming interface endpoint is incorrect or inaccessible. Verify the endpoint and ensure that it is reachable. Check the API endpoint. If the model is not generating the desired output, consider refining the prompt or context to provide more specific instructions or relevant information. Adjust the prompt or context. If the model is not functioning correctly, it might be necessary to update the Mistral AI library to ensure compatibility. Upgrade the Mistral AI library. A slow model response could be due to inefficient model parameters. Consider adjusting the model parameters, such as temperature, top K, or top P, to optimize performance. Optimize the model parameters. Langchain Google Vertex Vision Models Vertex Image Generator Chat Summary. This model utilizes Vertex's image generation application programming interface API to generate images based on text prompts. It takes a textual description and produces corresponding visuals, enabling users to create images from their written ideas. Inputs: a textual description that describes the desired image. For example, a cat wearing a hat sitting on a chair. The endpoint URL of the Vertex AI image generation API. This endpoint is required to establish communication with the API for generating images. Outputs: the generated image is returned as a visual representation based on the provided text prompt. For example, The image generated from the prompt "a cat wearing a hat sitting on a chair" would depict a cat wearing a hat sitting on a chair. Steps. The text prompt is sent to the Vertex AI Image Generation API. This API is responsible for processing the text and generating the corresponding image. The API responds with the generated image. This image is then returned as the output of the model. Prerequisites. A Google Cloud project is required for accessing and utilizing the Vertex AI Image Generation API. This project should have Vertex AI enabled to allow for image generation. A Vertex AI Application Programming Interface API key is needed to authenticate and authorize access to the Vertex AI Image Generation API. The API key should have appropriate permissions to use the API. Fine-tune parameters. The size of the generated image can be adjusted based on the user's requirements. This parameter allows for controlling the overall dimensions of the image. The resolution of the generated image can be fine-tuned to achieve desired levels of clarity and detail. This parameter influences the sharpness and pixel density of the image. Challenges and fixes. The Vertex AI Image Generation API may impose rate limits to prevent abuse and ensure fair access for all users. To address rate limiting, a retry mechanism can be implemented to handle temporary rate limit errors. This mechanism would repeatedly attempt to send the request until successful. The Vertex AI API can return errors during image generation, indicating issues such as invalid inputs, rate limits, or API failures. To handle API errors, appropriate error handling mechanisms should be implemented. This would involve identifying the specific error type and taking corresponding actions, such as retrying the request, adjusting input parameters, or informing the user about the error. Langchain mistralai chat models a completion with retry summarization. This describes a process that utilizes mistralai chat models for text completion with a retry mechanism. It leverages langchain's framework to interact with the Mistral AI models, enabling the completion of text prompts while handling potential errors or rate limits. Inputs. A prompt that provides context and instructions for the desired text completion. The name of the specific Mistral AI model to be used for the text completion task. Outputs. The generated text output by the chosen Mistral AI model based on the provided prompt. Steps. The provided prompt is sent to the specified Mistral AI model for processing. The response from the model is analyzed and potential errors are handled. Retries may be attempted if necessary. Prerequisites. An application programming interface API key is required for accessing and interacting with a Mistral AI service. It serves as a unique identifier and authentication credential for your account. This is the unique key provided by Mistral AI after creating an account. It is required for authorizing requests to the Mistral AI service. The langchain library needs to be installed in your development environment to enable seamless communication and interaction with Mistral AI models. This refers to the installation of the langchain library in the Python environment. This library provides a robust framework for integrating and interacting with various language models, including Mistral AI chat models. Fine-tune parameters. This parameter controls the degree of randomness or creativity in the model's output. A higher temperature value leads to more unpredictable and diverse responses. This parameter sets an upper limit on the number of tokens that the model can generate in its response. This constraint is useful for managing output length and computational resources. Challenges and fixes. The Mistral AI service may impose rate limits on the number of requests that can be made within a specific time frame. Exceeding this limit can result in errors or delays. Increase the rate limit assigned to your Mistral AI account to accommodate higher request volume. This can be done by contacting Mistral AI support or upgrading your account plan. The chosen Mistral AI model might encounter unexpected issues or return errors during processing. Attempting the completion with a different Mistral AI model or modifying the fine-tuning parameters can help resolve model errors. Langchain Grok Chat Models. Chat Grok Summary. A Chat Grok model is a large language model (LLM) designed for natural language interaction. It is trained on a massive dataset of text and code, enabling it to understand and generate human-like text, translate languages, write different kinds of creative content, and answer your questions in an informative way. For example, it can be used to generate creative text formats, like poems, code, scripts, musical pieces, email, letters, etc. It can also answer your questions in an informative way, even if they are open-ended, challenging, or strange. Inputs. Text. This is the user input text that the model will process. It can be a question, a statement, or any other type of text. User id. This is a unique identifier for the user who is interacting with the model. It is used to track the user's interactions and to personalize the model's responses. Outputs. Response. This is the output generated by the model in response to the user's input. It can be a text, a code, or any other type of output. Steps. Tokenization and numerical representation. The user's input is broken down into smaller units called tokens. These tokens are then converted into a numerical representation, which can be processed by the model. Model processing and probability distribution. The model processes the numerical representation of the input using its learned parameters. This process generates a probability distribution over possible outputs. Output sampling. The model samples the most likely output based on the probability distribution. This means that the model chooses the output that has the highest probability of being the correct response. Output decoding and return. The generated output is then decoded back into a human-readable format and returned to the user. Prerequisites. Installation of the LangChain library. The LangChain library is required to interact with a Chat Grok model. The LangChain library can be installed using pip, a package installer for Python. For example, it can be installed using the command pip install langchain. Availability of a Grok device. A Grok device is a specialized hardware accelerator that is necessary to run the Chat Grok model efficiently. It is a custom-designed processor specifically for machine learning tasks. The Grok device provides hardware acceleration for the model, allowing it to process information and generate responses much faster than on a traditional CPU or GPU. Fine-tune parameters. Learning rate of the model. This parameter controls how quickly the model adjusts its parameters during training. A higher learning rate means that the model will learn faster, but it may also be more likely to overfit the training data. Number of epochs to train the model. An epoch represents one complete pass through the entire training dataset. The number of epochs determines how many times the model will see the training data. A larger number of epochs allows the model to learn more from the data, but it can also lead to overfitting. Challenges and fixes. The model may generate outputs that are not factually accurate. For example, the model may generate incorrect facts about historical events, scientific concepts, or current events. To address this, the model can be fine-tuned on a dataset of factual information. The fine-tuning process involves adjusting the model's parameters to improve its performance on a specific task. In this case, fine-tuning on a dataset of factual information can help the model to learn to generate more accurate responses. The model may generate outputs that are offensive or harmful. For example, the model may generate text that is racist, sexist, or otherwise offensive. To address this, the model can be fine-tuned on a dataset of ethical and socially responsible text. This type of fine-tuning can help the model to learn to avoid generating text that is harmful or offensive. The fine-tuning process can involve using a dataset of text that is free from biases and promotes ethical and socially responsible language. By training the model on this dataset, the model can learn to generate text that is more aligned with ethical and socially responsible values. Langchain Mistralai Chat Models Chat Mistral AI Summary. The Chat Mistral AI component is a Python class designed to facilitate the integration of Mistral AI chat models into langchain applications. It acts as a bridge between langchain and the powerful capabilities of Mistral's language models, enabling developers to leverage these models within their langchain projects. Inputs: name of the Mistral AI chat model to be used for generating responses. For example, mistralai Fanet Unedi chat model. A numerical value that controls the randomness of the model's output. Higher values result in more creative and unpredictable responses, while lower values produce more deterministic and focused outputs. The maximum number of tokens the model is allowed to generate in a single response. This parameter helps to limit the length of the generated text, a numerical value that influences the diversity of the model's output. Higher values encourage a broader range of words and phrases in the generated response, while lower values constrain the model to more predictable and focused responses. A numerical value that limits the number of possible tokens considered at each step during the generation process. This helps to reduce the computational complexity and speed up the generation process. A Boolean value indicating whether the response should be generated in a streaming fashion. If true, the model will send the response as a stream of tokens, allowing for interactive responses in real time. Outputs: the generated response from the Mistral AI chat model in the form of a string. Steps: establishes a connection to the Mistral AI API using the provided application programming interface. API key creates a representation of the specified Mistral AI chat model within the langchain environment. Sends the user's input prompt to the Mistral AI API using the generate method of the model object. This method handles the communication with the Mistral AI server and transmits the prompt for processing. Receives the generated response from the Mistral AI API and returns it as a string to the langchain application. This response represents the output of the Mistral model, based on the provided prompt and the model's parameters. Prerequisites: a valid application programming interface API key is required to access the Mistral AI service. This key acts as a security credential, authorizing the langchain application to interact with the Mistral AI API. You can obtain an API key from the Mistral AI platform, which enables access to their chat models and services. To utilize the Chat Mistral AI component effectively, you need to have a langchain project set up. Langchain is a framework that provides tools and components for building and integrating language models into applications. Having langchain installed and configured is essential for using the Chat Mistral AI component within your project. Fine-tune parameters. The temperature parameter allows you to fine-tune the randomness of the model's output. A higher temperature value increases the unpredictability and creativity of the generated text, while a lower value results in more predictable and focused responses. This parameter provides flexibility in controlling the style and tone of the model's output. The max tokens parameter limits the maximum number of tokens the model can generate in a single response. This is useful for controlling the length of the generated text and preventing excessively long outputs. You can adjust this parameter based on your application's requirements and the desired length of responses. The top P parameter influences the diversity of the model's output. A higher value encourages the model to consider a broader range of possible words and phrases, resulting in more diverse and creative responses. A lower value constrains the model to a more focused set of options, producing more predictable and consistent outputs. This parameter allows you to balance between creativity and predictability in the model's responses. The top K parameter limits the number of possible tokens considered at each step during the generation process. This parameter helps to optimize the generation process, reducing the computational complexity and potentially speeding up the response time. You can adjust this parameter to balance between computational efficiency and the quality of the generated text. The stream parameter enables the generation of the response in a streaming fashion. When set to true, the model sends the response as a stream of tokens, allowing for interactive responses in real time. This is particularly useful for applications that require immediate feedback or display the response incrementally as it is generated. Challenges and fixes. An incorrect application programming interface API key may prevent the Chat Mistral AI component from connecting to the Mistral AI service. To resolve this issue, ensure that the API key used is valid and matches the credentials provided by Mistral AI. You can verify the API key on the Mistral AI platform or regenerate a new key if necessary. If the specified Mistral AI chat model is not found, the Chat Mistral AI component will encounter an error. To address this, double-check the model name provided as input. Ensure that the name accurately reflects the desired model and is available within the Mistral AI service. Communication errors may occur during the API request process. These errors can be due to network issues, server outages, or other factors. To handle these errors, implement retry mechanisms with error handling. This allows the Chat Mistral AI component to attempt the API request again if an error occurs, increasing the robustness of the application. The format of the response received from the Mistral AI API may not be consistent with the expected format within the langchain application. To address this, update the parsing logic to handle the specific response structure returned by the Mistral AI API. This ensures that the Chat Mistral AI component can correctly process and utilize the response data. Exceeding the rate limits set by the Mistral AI API can result in errors or delays. Implement rate limiting logic to control the frequency of API requests. This involves setting limits on the number of requests per unit of time, ensuring compliance with the API's usage guidelines. Langchain mistralai chat models a completion with retry summary. Retrieve a completion from a Mistral AI chat model using the langchain library, retrying if an error occurs. This process involves utilizing the capabilities of a large language model (LLM) from Mistral AI, which is a specialized AI model designed for text generation, translation, and other natural language tasks. The langchain library acts as an intermediary, facilitating communication between your application and the Mistral AI model. This process is robust, as it handles potential errors by attempting to resend the request multiple times, ensuring a higher chance of successful completion. Inputs: the prompt to be completed by the Mistral AI chat model. This prompt serves as the input text that triggers the LLM to generate a response. It could be a question, a request for a story, or any other text-based instruction. The Mistral AI chat model to use. This refers to the specific LLM selected for the task. Mistral AI offers a variety of models optimized for different tasks, each with unique strengths and capabilities. Outputs. The completion generated by the Mistral AI chat model. This is the output generated by the LLM in response to the prompt. It could be a written answer to a question, a generated story, or any other text content based on the prompt's context. Steps. Initialize the Mistral AI chat model. This involves establishing a connection to the chosen Mistral AI model, loading its parameters, and preparing it for receiving prompts and generating responses. Call the chat models a completion with retry method. This method sends the user prompt to the Mistral AI model, initiating the completion process. This step includes retry mechanisms to handle potential errors during the communication or processing. Prerequisites. Installation of the langchain and Mistral AI Python libraries. These libraries are essential for interacting with the Mistral AI models and for managing the communication flow between your application and the LLM. Fine-tune parameters. Max retries. The maximum number of retries to attempt. This parameter defines the maximum number of times the request will be sent to the LLM if an error occurs during communication or processing. Retry interval. The time to wait between retries. In seconds. This parameter specifies the duration of the pause between retries. This allows for potential network hiccups to resolve or for the LLM to become available again. Challenges and fixes. The Mistral AI chat model might be unavailable or overloaded, resulting in an error. For example, if the LLM server is temporarily down or experiencing heavy traffic, it may not respond immediately. To mitigate this, the request is retried after a short delay, hoping that the LLM will become available again. The chat model might return an invalid or incomplete completion. This could happen due to various reasons, such as errors in the model itself, limitations in its understanding of the prompt, or issues with the input text. To address this, the request can be retried using a different model if available or by adjusting the prompt to make it clearer or more specific. For example, if the prompt is ambiguous, refining it can improve the LLM's ability to generate a meaningful response.